All right, you guys, so welcome back to another educational video. Now, this is a real and serious topic that like 99% of everybody in the fitness industry, even new gym people, believe. Bulking does kill your gains. Now, before I really get into this, I really want to explain why, hybrid is king, being lean is king, being at that lower body fat, being able to run. There's so many little but simple details, and after I'm done explaining it for you guys, I'm gonna make it in the most simple terms possible. You're gonna be like, holy shit, I didn't really realize that, because this is the same thing that I was stuck in for many years, like the same cycles of like bulking, cutting. And I just always thought that if I just ate more food, even if it was clean, that I would gain more muscle. But it's just simply not like that. And as you can tell right here on the left, this is just one of my bad bulks I've done. I've done three or four bulks in general, but like two or three of them were dirty bulks. But it just kept me in the same cycle. And now I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm never worrying about bulking or eating more food in general. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm fast. I'm finally confident. I'm able to go out because I'm not spending every single day in the gym now. So let's get into this, okay? Pillar number one, and probably the most important, is going to be the topic of dirty bulking and overall nutrition, okay? When you have to realize that when it comes to bulking, right, and just in general, eating more food does not mean you're going to gain more muscle. When it comes to doing a proper bulk, you want to get down to a very lean body fat first, or just something like this in general, right? Around like that 10 to 11% body fat. You have to understand that you scarfing down a bunch of more food and trying to have like these big meals like this, which is one of my like dirty bulking meals, does not mean you're going to gain muscle faster. All you're literally doing is fixating on the scale so much about, oh, I have to get to this way, I have to get to this way. But in reality, you're not gaining more muscle. All you're doing is gaining fat, okay? So excess calories does not mean you're building muscle or even quality muscle at all, okay? The more fat you start to gain, it literally hides the definition, which also does kill your visual progress, which is something that I used to deal with too. Like, right, I would go on these bulks and I'd be looking at myself and I'm like, damn, like, am I really getting the progress I want? I'm not really happy with myself. And it's because I couldn't see it. This is also one of the main problems with bulking too, and just going overboard with the eating. Like, you're not able to really tell if you're making progress. And then that results to you going back to the scale and fixating on your weight because you can't see it visually. And that's how it's supposed to be. When you do a proper lean bulk, you're supposed to be lean and keep your vascularity and keep your abs, not only to be more healthy, but to actually have that visual progress over time. And yes, it's going to be a lot slower, but that's how you do it the proper way, okay? Insulin sensitivity drops, worse nutrient partitioning, which basically means, right, when you get to a higher body fat level like this and you're just scarfing down a bunch of food thinking it's going to get you better progress, what you don't realize is that your body is not able to process the nutrients correctly because you're having so much food, right? You will actually gain a lot more muscle and get better progress eating in a calorie deficit with smaller portions and quality food, rather than scarfing down a bunch of food, even if it's clean, because your body's actually being able to use the nutrients correctly and form it into, quality muscle and get you better progress, okay? And again, more weight does not mean more functional tissue too as well, involving the running and the cardio, okay? Now, pillar two, why you need to get lean right now. And this is going to more involve the running side of things, right? So lower body fat means you have better cardiovascular efficiency, which means that when you get down to a lower body fat, it's going to be a lot easier for you to burn off fat and overall get into the, running side of things, right? And over here, you can see me. This is just me a couple weeks ago at the track. And even when I wasn't at this body fat level, like I was like 5 or 10 pounds heavier just a couple months ago before I really started getting into running, I can tell the difference. Like, there's a huge difference getting down to a lower body fat level and having that being able to help you out with the running. And on top of that, with the running too, it really helps to get you to that lower body fat percentage. And on top of that, you're able to eat a lot more and, better absorb nutrients and everything. And as you can see over here too on the right, running improves blood flow, which leads to better pumps and recovery, okay? Your VO2 max and your work capacity means you have a higher bench, this is the case for every single movement. You're just able to, get progress faster and overall have a bigger load in a sense to be able to work out harder and have higher intensity, okay? And you can train more often at a higher quality, okay? And this, again, just leads into the whole fact I was talking about earlier, that your body just will be able to actually use the food that you're eating more efficiently, use the nutrients that you're eating more efficiently, okay? The leaner you are, the more you can train because you're actually recovering properly. Now, obviously, there's a limit, but this is the overall case, okay? Pillar number 3 is that just dirty bulking and bulking in general, it kills your discipline, okay? I'll cut later mindset, it puts you in this procrastination loop, which causes the binge eating. And I'm not gonna lie, it causes the worst energy crashes, okay? And it just causes overall inconsistency. And you have to realize that the food is controlling you. You have to be in control of the food and what you're doing overall. But when it gets to the point like this, where you're just simply saying that you're bulking, but really you're just binge eating and scarfing down a bunch of food, that is not a healthy thing mentally or physically, okay? Now, on the other side of things though, running daily forces structure and accountability. You're keeping track with yourself, you're keeping track of your list with your running daily, and you overall have more discipline and overall structure in your programming and day-to-day life, right? Shredded men move differently and they eat intentionally, okay? And overall, the biggest thing is that they control the food, right? Again, there's such a big difference in, just wanting the bulk because you just want to have a bunch of food and you want to go out to eat and you just want to eat like shit. That's a discipline problem, and that's a whole nother topic of, the mental side of things, okay? And now pillar number 4 is that the hybrid physique just means longevity, right? You have to understand that if you want to be able to do this for a long time, if you want to be healthy for a long time, which obviously that should be your goal getting into the gym, and you want to just be able to do this for a long time, even when you have kids, even when you have the wife, still be able to take care of yourself, still be able to take care of your kids, to be able to, play with them and go to, sports events with them and not be that dad or just that person in general that literally cannot move or be able to do the smallest things in life because you're just so unhealthy, and it's being caused by the dirty bulking and the overeating and thinking that, I need to eat more and eat more and eat more to gain more muscle and get bigger. And you just, one big thing I want to mention too is that stop being so fixated over trying to get to a certain weight, okay? When I first started, that was like the main thing that caused the dirty bulking and just wanting to eat a bunch of food in general. It was like, because when I first started, I was 150 and I obsessed over the thought of getting to 200 pounds. I thought that, oh yeah, as long as I reach 200 pounds, I'm still going to have the muscle. I'm still going to have the abs, the vascularity. And obviously I was quickly humbled over time. So stop fixating on trying to get to a certain weight so quick, okay? And just on the other side of things, on the longevity side, again, you have better joint health, mobility, longevity in general. The athletic look holds year round. It's not something that's just like a little quick phase, like the whole winter arc shit. You're able to look like this 24/7, and then you incorporating the whole hybrid part of it and the running part of it, you're burning a lot more calories, which puts your body into a metabolizing machine, and ultimately you do get to eat a lot more food and be able to keep the six-pack, stay lean, stay confident, and overall look good all the time, okay? You have better posture, you have better movement, higher confidence, right? And you're not stuck in the endless bulking and cutting cycles, okay? I promise you guys, before I got into running and really learned how to dial in with my nutrition and not let the food control me and not be so fixated on getting to a certain weight, I was stuck in these bulking and cutting phases literally for years. Like, I've been lifting for 6 to 7 years now, and just in this past year, I've been getting into running and finally been, dialing in with my nutrition and not focusing on bulking anymore. And then as soon as I stopped thinking about bulking is when I got in the best shape of my life, okay? Again, the whole overall topic of this video is that you do not need a bunch of food or have to be in this huge calorie surplus in order to gain muscle. You have to understand that the process of gaining muscle, getting stronger, getting bigger, all that, getting in shape, it's going to be a slow process in general, okay? Just get to a low body fat percentage first. Get into running. That way your body turns into a metabolizing machine. You can burn more calories, eat a little bit more, and just focus on smaller portions, but eating clean, whole foods and nutrient-dense foods, and you will get way faster and better progress than that person who's so fixated on trying to get to a certain weight and just scarfing down a bunch of food thinking that they're getting bigger when in reality you're just getting fatter, okay? If you guys have any questions about anything, please DM me on Instagram at any time. And if you guys want more info on this or about coaching in general, again, you can just DM me on Instagram. If you're like, hey, I'm interested in coaching, I want to find out more, you can schedule a call me down below and we'll talk about your goals and everything. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Stop fucking eating a bunch of food and thinking that bulking is the way to go, because it's not.